Captain Hoshina says something to him and he looks away and then looks back and the thing's gone and vanishes. And I'm like, okay, what is this thing that is so good at hiding its presence that Captain Hoshina didn't even notice it?
One day, master's degree. One day, PhD. One day, you will write books. One day, commercials. One day, the impossible, you will laugh at the impossible. You will look at the impossible and go, what was I thinking?
Hello, my spoiler alert friends. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About It. Okay, so I got a few things I wanted to talk about this time. One, we have Kaiju number 8, the developments that are happening in that. We have Demon Slayer, the Infinity Castle arc, the new movie's coming out, and I am so excited to see it. I've been waiting for this, and it's kind of crazy how, okay, so it's like, it was a long time coming, but then it also is crazy that we're finally here. And then also Moriarty the Patriot. So it's not a super common anime. Not many people have ever heard of it. I've asked other people, like, hey, have you seen this show? And many of them haven't. But they have 2 new OVA episodes. They might not even be new, but they're new to me. So I started watching those. And yeah, I just wanted to discuss those things. So yeah, thanks for joining me in this crazy journey of anime talking and scripture and just relationships with God and medicine. And it's just, I don't know. Thank you for joining me while talking about my passions, right? So I'll start with Kafka and Kaiju number 8. So right now he is, I guess he's emotionally struggling because he sees Reno and the rest of his teammates from Squad 3 growing. They're all growing. And he's recognizing that at least he feels that he hasn't grown himself outside of being able to use Kaiju number 8. He's like, I got to figure out a way to actually be better without that. Yes, I will go into Kaiju form if need be, but I need to figure out how to be better without it. And I think he and Captain Hoshina feel the exact same way. So right now what we have is Captain Hoshina saying, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to teach you how to fight. I'm just going to teach you how to fight. Yeah, you have the power of the Kaiju, but to depend on that is foolish. You're going to eventually die. So we got to figure out a way to make you strong without using that. And then when you do use it, you're going to be even stronger to be able to beat our enemies. So Captain Hoshina takes Kafka to this, it's like where they believe all the spirits of the people who died fighting Kaiju or to Kaiju rest, right? And he takes him there. And now this is where the intrigue comes in for me, because it could be, like in Naruto, where it would be like, you'd see a ghost figure or something like that, and they were always spooked, and it was like, it never really amounted to anything. And this same situation could be true, same situation. But I think we got something else going on here. When he's in that, it's essentially, I'm just going to call it a burial ground. When he's at the burial ground and they're fighting and they're doing their thing and they're training, as they're leaving, he turns to pay his respects. He bows, pays his respects. And then when he looks up, there's a samurai, like a person in a samurai suit with a sword standing there looking. And he's looking at him, and then they make eye contact. They like lock eyes. And then Captain Hoshina says something to him and he looks away and then looks back and the thing's gone and vanishes. And I'm like, okay, what is this thing that is so good at hiding its presence that Captain Hoshina didn't even notice it? And Kafka was only able to notice this thing. was it an actual ghost or was it actually someone watching him? And I'm thinking that it was actually somebody watching him, because the way that they showed it and the way that they did it, it was more than just like, oh, here's this spirit, and paying respects and moving on. It was different than that. So I'm curious who this is, because I'm betting that they're going to play a role in later developments, right? I think it's cool that Renault was able to finally calm himself down, take control of his body, and use the Kaiju number 6 suit, and finish the Honju, and that he had the support of his teammates, and he was able to depend on others versus shouldering everything himself. I also think that it's cool that Shark Teeth, again, I don't know what his name is. I don't know why some of their names are so hard for me to remember, but anyway, I also think that it's cool that he has the same like characteristics of being able to fluctuate his power output based on his level of focus and his emotional state. Essentially, when he's able to lock in and really like just be completely submerged in the moment, his combat power goes way up, versus when he's distracted and he's doing things. And he's not the only one in history who's ever had that situation. So the things that are happening in the show one, that like you're not set in stone with where you are, that there is potential for growth. Like the whole idea in the beginning was like, once you find what your output is, you're kind of set there. There's not really much change that's going to happen, but we're saying that that's not the case. Kafka might be the one that's taking the longest, but he's also, I think, going to eventually, even outside of just using the kaiju form, eventually become someone whose power levels are off the charts. And that might even be what the kaiju number 8, when he found Kafka and said, I found you, that might be what he was looking for, someone with that potential. So I'm just curious to see what happens. It may end up not turning into anything, and this is all speculation, and I'm completely wrong. So and I'm okay with that. But the things that are happening in the show are leaning themselves to the whole idea of grind, work, try your hardest, keep pushing. And I love that. That's one of my favorite things about anime. It's just that whole spirit of don't give up. Things are hard. Things will be hard. But just because they're hard doesn't mean that you can't find it within yourself to push forward and do more. And that's what brings me into Demon Slayer. My boy Tanjiro, man. I cannot wait to see what this dude does. So I got kind of spoiled, and not what happens, but kind of what is going on in the movie, right? So I was told it's going to be a 3-part trilogy, which is also interesting to me. I hope that they make more seasons and not just movies. But it turns out that they also make a lot of money from the movies, so they probably will continue doing that. I don't know. I'm cool. I just want to make sure that I can see the show. I like something that is longer, that gives me more meat to chew on. Like there's more substance to the actual show. So hopefully we still get a nice long season that gives us plenty of information to digest and draws this thing out a little bit for us. And it's not just like, oh, here's the season, and now you got 3 movies that come out every 2 years, which I think that would suck. But so hopefully it's not the last season. I don't know. I don't even like looking that type of stuff up, if I'm being honest, because then you see things when you're reading, you'll see like a spoiler, and I don't want to be spoiled. But I was told that the movie focus, it has a lot of lore, like backgrounds on characters and why certain things are happening, and things like that. And I'm all for that. Like, I want to see combat, and that hopefully it's not way overboard on the history, and we do get to see a good amount of combat. But either way, I'm going to be happy. I got my tickets. It's going to be a late night show, so we're just going to see what happens. I'm super excited to check it out. And again, it's because of that Tanjiro spirit, that Naruto spirit, that Rock Lee spirit, that, you know, I have this struggle, and I'm going to fight through it to become better. And I don't know, it's a motivator for me because, again, I've mentioned on here plenty of times when I'm in a hard situation, not like necessarily super hard, because when I'm in a super hard situation, I tend to lean on God because that's where the ultimate strength comes from in my life. And I think in any of yours, if you're listening, it can come to you too. But when it's like a mid struggle, I like to think of anime, my favorite anime characters, and that helps me push through. And then the final thing was wanting to talk about Moriarty the Patriot. So if you have not seen that show, it's really good. It follows Moriarty, which is the like the arch nemesis of Sherlock Holmes. So you got Sherlock Holmes, who is the detective who is known to be the good guy, right? And then Moriarty the Patriot, who is the bad guy in the show or in the movies, whatever. Like, and he's the one who's always like been on an intellectually equal level with Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock always had struggles with catching him and all this stuff, right? But this show dives down the path line of, like, it follows Moriarty. It's like why he is who he is, how he became that way, and just shows you like what he's doing, how he did things. And it's really cool to see the other side of it. Like, you know, we all, well, maybe not we all, but a lot of people saw Sherlock Holmes, like, or read about Sherlock Holmes, or even saw the new, not new, but the human versions of Sherlock Holmes versus the cartoons and all that, right? Or anime. But you saw all of that, and you know, you're rooting for Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, and you don't really get to see the other side of it, and this shows the other side, and I really like it because I'm not gonna lie, I halfway somewhat can side with Moriarty on a lot of the things. I'm like, I can see how you can come to that conclusion. But there's 2 new OVAs that came out. I don't know when they came out, but I was able to start watching one of them. And I really like the show. I like having mysteries. I like having, it's crime mysteries essentially, and them being solved. And I like type shows like that. And it's much better in anime than like real life. Like, hey, there's some crazy serial murderer or something that they're trying to find. I'm like, I don't want to hear those stories. I really don't. So yeah, it's just a cool show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I've been enjoying the OVA. And I'll definitely continue to talk about it as I watch them. But I did not watch any of the other ones. I didn't watch Dawn to Dawn. I didn't watch Arc Knights. I didn't watch my Rising Shield Hero. I didn't watch My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, sometimes it's interesting, but sometimes, like, I'm sure you guys know as anime watchers that sometimes you just want to watch a random anime, even if you're in something. Like, you just want to kind of watch something random, and that's what I'm kind of doing right now. I'm still watching Kaiju number 8 because that's like fresh and really exciting for me. But everything else is like, yeah, I just kind of want to see something else. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. This one was a little bit of a random episode. There's a lot of different things going on in my head, but thank you guys for sticking to this point. Yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
One thing I know.